Hey, how you guys doing? Peter Solomon here. Today we're going to go over a couple of stretches for your hips. Hips are often one of those things that are under-addressed in dealing with low back pain. What happens is, in your normal gait cycle when you're walking, your hip needs to extend. If it's not extending, that motion needs to come from somewhere, and it typically comes from your low back. So if your hip isn't extending, what happens is your low back extends. You get a lot of compression on those posterior elements of your vertebrae and the discs, and often the facet joints and the posterior elements of the disc get compressed and get inflamed and cause pain and create a whole bunch of issues. So we're going to go over some hip stretches today. Some of them you may have seen. I'm going to add some banded distractions to them too, just to take it to the next level. So let's take a look at some stretches. One that you have probably seen before is just your typical piriformis stretch. You can sit on a chair, sit in a box. Essentially you're crossing your leg over, figure four position, and pushing down on your knee while you're leaning forward. And the goal is to keep this knee parallel with the ground as you're leaning forward. If you want to add a bit more of a stretch to it, you can reach around, grab your ankle, and really pull yourself down into that. If you've been doing these stretches and you don't think they're really paying off and giving you what you need to get out of them, I would suggest to get a band, get these power bands. If you're going to do these, do the power band with this stretch. You're going to wrap it around your knee, wrap it around your back, around your other knee, and you're going to get right back into that same position, and you're going to lean into that or pull yourself into that. What's going to happen now is this band is pulling your femur into the posterior part of that hip joint, and it's going to be causing a stretch in that posterior element of that hip capsule. So not only are you stretching the piriformis muscle and the anterior part of the hip, you're also stretching the posterior element of that hip and putting the femur into the back part of the hip where it is at its most stable position, and just kind of resetting some of those neurological pathways. So you're going to hold, and again with most of these stretches, you want to try and hold for a good couple of minutes. If you can hold it for 2 minutes, hold it for 2 minutes. So this is one. I'll show you another one now. So another stretch which is quite similar to the one we just did is, again, getting up on a chair or a bench or a box like this, getting into this stretch. Again, you're stretching, you've probably seen this, runners do this quite a bit. Again, you're stretching the piriformis muscle. The piriformis muscle is the muscle underneath the big glute muscle. The piriformis muscle is got two heads. Sciatic nerve goes through those two heads. If the piriformis muscle gets tight, what happens is it's going to pinch on that sciatic nerve. You're going to get pain, symptoms, pins and needles, and things down into your leg, or just hip pain and restricted range of motion. So that's the typical piriformis stretch. If you want to add a band to that, again, attach the band to something stable. You can step into the band. You want the band quite high up on your thigh. And again, get yourself right back into that same stretch. Keeping your knee on the surface, leaning forward. But what's happening now, again, is this band is going to be pulling the femur into the back part of that hip capsule. So you're getting piriformis stretch and you're getting hip joint and hip capsule mobilization at the same time. So that's a couple of cool stretches for your hip, and hopefully help you deal with some of your low back pain. Hope that helps. Alrighty, another great stretch for low back pain and trying to free up those hips is to get the groin moving, get the adductors stretched out. The adductor muscles are big muscles that attach into the groin on the inside of the thigh. I'll show you a pretty easy stretch you can do. There's one way to do it with a band and without a band. We'll do it first without a band, and then we'll do it with the band. With both of these stretches, the goal is to try and stay in this position for about 2 minutes. So essentially you just want to be in this position for 2 minutes, slowly letting your legs drift out to a point where you can feel some pain on the inner thigh, you can feel the stretch, and this is just where you hang out. If this is all you can do, then this is where you stay. If you need to add a band to it, to get more of a stretch, then you can do that. So again, you add the band, allow the band to open your legs up. Try and stay here for about 2 minutes. When you want to come out of that position, you just bend your knees and get yourself up.